What's up, you guys? Yes. Welcome back. Ignore my mask knee, okay? I have to wear a mask 8 hours a day while I'm at work. And speaking of work, this video is about my job as a beverage cart girl at a golf course. Yes, I've been watching too many TikToks. Look, I can't stop doing this. So I worked as a beverage cart girl at a golf course from like June 1st to mid-August. Obviously, everybody saw the TikToks talking about how you can make fat bank. This is gonna be a realistic discussion about being a beverage cart girl at a golf course because those TikToks really make it seem glamorous. Let's get real. Okay, first of all, let's talk about requirements. In California, where I live, you have to be 21 to serve a hard alcohol, 18 to serve beer and wine. So pretty much they want to hire you if you're 21 and over. The beverage cart that I worked on sold hard liquor as well as beer. Then we also had like sandwiches and candy bars, soda, Gatorade, water, those sorts of things. Pretty much just have to be able to drive, but all in all, it's a pretty easy job. For us, the cash register was an iPad. Here's your stuff. Give me your credit card, or this is how much it is in cash. I kept all my cash in this little Amazon Basics fanny pack. I think it's like a running pack. My work provided this. I really should have given it back, but it didn't, so sorry. How I got the job. I just searched my area, golf course, beverage cart, and jobs just happened to be open. I got a call like 2 days later, set up an interview, and got the job day of the interview. The interview process for me, I showed up in my little mask, you know, kind of gave them the rundown. Hey, my name's Marnie. I just graduated from Chico State. I studied nutrition and food science, blah, blah, blah. I have open availability. I really want full time. If I can have it, please. They put me in the golf cart, not the bev cart, but just a golf cart. My manager drove me a little bit around the course. At that point, the beverage cart was stationary, so I met head of food and beverage because we also had a restaurant at our golf course. Talked a little bit about the position. I asked like, so what do you wear? And they were like, knee-length skirts, but what if I don't do that? Which did get me in trouble a couple times, so we'll talk about that in a minute. The interview was really fast, really easy. I think the fact that I was like, yeah, I have full open availability, I've served alcohol before, and I know how to drive. They were like, cool, you're hired. If you are going to interview, I would suggest, you know, dress in business cash, maybe in golf clothes if you have them. Just be nice and bubbly and show a vague interest in golf. The next thing we're gonna talk about are the outfits I wore to work. So I got most of my clothes from Dick's Sporting Goods. I got some off of Nike, and I think that's it, as well as the 2 polos that they provided from the golf course with our little logo on them. I also got a name tag. Here it is. So I would almost always wear the little golf polo. I tried to get as many of the tank top ones as possible because it is the summer in California. We were allowed to wear leggings for like the first 3 weeks I worked there, and there were a couple days where it was really overcast and cold, so I wore leggings. Then all of a sudden leggings weren't allowed anymore. Money, let's talk about it. So, as I kind of talked about in my beverage cart girl day in the life video, I would average about $50 in tips if I was working a 6-hour, 7-hour shift. I almost never worked a full 8-hour shift. I'd get about $50, and that would be through the afternoon. So I'd start around noon, and I would be there till 6:30. Sometimes though, and especially like later into that job after I made the video, I really started to only work 4-hour shifts, and it would be just the afternoon on like a Monday. So then it was like, cool, I made $15 in tips. Great, thanks. And those are just cash tips. The credit card tips would go to my paycheck and get taxed as income, so you don't get the full amount that it says. So a lot of days I'd end up making technically $100 in tips, but the rest of it came taxed in my paycheck later, which kind of sucks. There was one day where I made $95 in cash tips. I was really feeling it that day. That was good. At first, they gave us no cash bank and we weren't supposed to take cash, but we could take cash tips. But I do think that that kind of was at our own detriment because a lot of people carry around 20s because that's what you get out of the ATM. So if you don't have change, they're not gonna tip you a whole 20. Jerry Rice might, which by the way, I met Jerry Rice at this job. He's a former 49ers football player. It was kind of cool. Once I built up quite a bit of money in tips, kept my own cash bank. So basically I would show up with $100 in my little fanny pack that I had made in tips previously. And I tried to keep as many ones in there as possible. If someone gave me a 20, but their bill was $10, I'd give them a 5 and 5 ones. That way, maybe they'll hand me the 5, or maybe they'll give me a couple of ones. Because the last thing you want is someone to just not tip you, because that shit hurts. Same with on the iPad, they can go in and type in a tip, either percentage or a dollar amount, and you really want to be like, did you want to leave a tip on there? Which does feel very awkward the first couple of times you say it, but sometimes they don't realize that they didn't leave a tip. So I'm just saying. And basically how it would work is you would, at the end of the day, calculate out how much after your cash bank that you're carrying around is sales. So if you have $210, you have $110 in sales because the original $100 is yours. You give the company the $110 extra and bada bing, bada boom, you're done. I always kept my cash tips stuffed in the golf cart steering wheel. Has a little clip on it for your little scorecard sheet when you're golfing. I just stuffed all my money in there and I had it folded up nice so that maybe people would remember to tip me. So I had my tip separate, I had my bank, and then I had my cash sales. Tried to make more sales, was going like, do you want a double? Do you want another one for later? Making sure everyone knew it was my last round. That would sometimes get people to buy out the whole stock of the cart. And I think that these TikTok beverage cart girl videos, they must be at those like Florida, like those southern states where everybody golfs. Those golf courses where actual rich people go, like say you worked at wherever Trump golfs, like I bet that's where the mega rich are. We are not where the mega rich are. Like sure, it's close to Silicon Valley and it's in like a higher tax bracket, but there was another golf course across the street, so immediate competition. They have their own brewery, so they kind of got a leg up on the whole like, hey, we sell cool stuff, come over here. So I don't think I got the actual best golf course to be a beverage cart girl on. I think there are other golf courses that probably get way more business, way more rich people willing to just give away money. So that's why I think my tips ended up being like $50 instead of hundreds of dollars. Because some of these girls, I'm like, I'm mad at you for convincing me to get this job because I'm not making hundreds of dollars a day. Okay, I'm jealous. The next thing that I kind of want to talk about, and this is maybe where it'll get a little bit more ranty, disorganization. The company that I was working for, my manager was the owner's niece, I think, which is known as nepotism. Now, nepotism is a really easy way to get people to be in charge of things that like maybe they shouldn't be in charge of. For example, a golf course. You think you'd want to know a little bit about golf or like really try to learn. I don't think that nepotism really leads to that because you're like, I don't have to try hard at this job because my uncle owns it. No offense if you're watching this. Just saying. Those are the honest truth. Other people in management said that to me as well. So I know I'm not crazy and I know I'm not the only one who thinks it. So this can lead to a fair amount of disorganization. Mind you, the week I started was the first week it was open after Corona shut everything down, which I'm sure led it being so disorganized. I would also like to say that on my very first day, my manager was like, you just don't see cars like that around here, you know, like it just like really scares me. Like what if they're gonna do something? And I'm like, that's literally racist, but okay. Anyway.
This really was not the only example of a time where the staff and the management were just like openly racist. Like the time that the director of golf was like, yeah, Asians never tip.
So disorganization, unprofessionalism, that can all kind of come to fruition in what is, I mean, it's a big business because I'm pretty sure it makes a fair amount of money, but in my head, it's a small business because my longest jobs have been at big corporations. Like Home Depot is a publicly traded, huge corporation. So if you need to take your lunch break, it is like mandated. Like you are taking your lunch break at the 5th hour or or nothing, you know, that's final. This job, not so much. They told me that lunch was at the 6th hour, which I'm pretty sure is not true in California, but whatever. You didn't get breaks. Again, whatever. One thing that really like perplexed me, I guess whoever used to run the beverage cart just like didn't have any managerial oversight, which sounds really dangerous when you're selling alcohol, but okay. They didn't have an inventory process at all, which means like at any point, the 16-year-old kids who would clean the golf carts could just go in and steal beer. You'd be none the wiser because you don't keep track. And my little like, I just graduated college ass was like, we should have an inventory sheet because I don't want to be held liable if something goes wrong. And also, it's so disorganized. What the hell? And there was absolutely no process for like people putting stuff in the beverage cart. I was really annoyed that there would be like 10 Guinnesses in there, and I'm like, no one fucking drinks Guinness on a hot summer day in California. Okay, they want cerveza. They want beer, but not like heavy dark beer. They want like Coronas, okay? And we should get seltzers, okay? What do you mean you're not selling any seltzer, freaking hard seltzer in the beverage cart on a golf course in California, okay? It's a skinny people drink, and California's a skinny people state. You need to get some claws in there. You need some Trulies, some High Noons, which I may have switched teams to High Noons from White Claw. We'll discuss that at a later point in time. So I made an inventory sheet on my own time, mind you. Brought that in, started enforcing that, showed the beverage manager like how it worked and everything. And then like it was so weird. I set up the inventory, right? I did it. And then my manager called me into her office one morning and was like, you really need to do the inventory sheet properly. And I was like, I literally made it. Like, is someone claiming to have done that? Because I did it. It's my work, in fact. So I'm doing it right. I could show you how I do the math, which like that does sound very condescending now that I say it now, but also like I know how to do math. Do you not? It was really weird. That's kind of more of like the technical side of the job. What it's actually like to be a beverage cart girl, a lot of it's really fucking fun, okay? So like what I would do is I'd like listen to podcasts or music and be driving around, People were pretty nice in general. They, you know, like, oh, what's up? How you been? A lot of men were kind of like my dad's age, had other daughters my age, so I felt a lot of like dad energy. Like they would be like, oh my God, like so when are you gonna get a real job? Because like I know you're not gonna stay here with a college degree. And that was always really nice. I still don't have a real job. Sorry guys. We'd like chit chat about the weather and like what's going on, sports, Corona. Okay, we got a lot of Corona truthers at the beverage cart, but you know, you just be nice to them. It's like talking to Trump supporters. I don't know, some of them are still kind of nice. They got the big old red hats on. I'm always just like, yeah, I don't know, I want to talk about politics with old men. So you get a lot of that. Sometimes you'd get kind of like younger guys. That was always really fun, because then I'm like, hey, like what are you guys up to? They'd be like smoking weed on the golf course, which I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to report, but I was just like, it's legal, you're outside. Please don't set anything on fire. That's what I'd usually say, because it got really dry. Oh, a lot of people want you to do shots with them. I got asked at least once a day. Do not do shots with them, because you can get A, like you'll be in trouble for drunk driving, and B, like people seriously hurt themselves as beverage cart attendants while driving under the influence, because if you do shots with every guy that asks, you're tanked, okay? And it's just not a good move. And also my alcohol consumption is way down, like way down. So if I had ever accepted that, I mean, I would have been schwasty after one shot and fired. Honestly, like just straight up, like I would have been fired. Most people are really nice and normal and not predatory, but some of them were just like really all up on you. So my big thing is I've never previously had a job where I relied on my feminine charms at all, really, to get me money. But at this job, I was like, fuck it. I'm young, I'm hot, I'm gonna make some money off of this body of mine while it still looks good, which was cool because it worked. But then some people were like, I love you. And I'm like, you're 70. I'm not interested. And then they would tip you like $1 and you're like, thanks. You're in love with me and I get $1? I don't think you're very in love with me. I think you're lying. I would have some people just be like, oh, do you have any hot dogs in there? And it's like, no, we don't have a heater. And they'd be like, wait, you're hot? Hee hee. I know, but we don't have any hot dogs, okay? There's nothing to heat them up. Sometimes I'd have really good comebacks for some of the harassment I faced, which was like, so like, when are you gonna take me out on a date? And I would be like, when you start looking good. Maybe it's because I grew up with a lot of men in my life, or because I like had a lot of guy friends in college. Kind of had some comebacks ready to go. I wish I'd written them down because some of them were fucking funny. And I remember being like, yes, I'm so proud of myself. And I don't remember them now. But comebacks I think are a good way to go, especially if you're uncomfortable. Kind of breaks the tension and the weirdness of like sexual offerings from these guys. I didn't get anything crazy, like no like let me be your sugar daddy requests, let me pay off your student loans. I would have taken that one in a heartbeat. Oh my god. I don't know if that's like true or embarrassing or both. And it would be pretty rare that someone got like too close to me. It's most likely because of Corona, because cases were going up as I was working there. So I think people were like, you know what we're not gonna do is like get up in this girl's business while she has a mask on, because what if she has it? Thanks to the Corona rules, I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Could you remain social distancing? Like, could you take your couple of steps back? We could be 6 feet apart. We can totally finish that transaction from 6 feet apart. And they were always really respectful of it, which I do think the Corona situation really does make this job a lot easier as far as someone who doesn't really like, I like male attention for sure. I like compliments, but also I don't like feeling you breathe on me. Even in regular times, like it's even worse in Corona times, but don't breathe on me. So I think that helped this job quite a bit. I read a couple of articles about how like working as a beverage cart girl is like a feminist nightmare. And I mean, it's not great. You definitely get objectified. I mean, you're called the bev cart girl. Like it's not a gender neutral job, it's just girls. You're getting called beautiful, getting called like hot. Most of the time it's just nice. Like you gotta think, all these guys have been stuck inside with their families all of quarantine. This is like the most that they're gonna let go. If you get hit on a little and get tipped a lot, it's not so bad. Thankfully though, like no one ever tried to touch me or do anything weird. But yeah, I think it is a great job, especially for like if you're a college student on summer break, or if you just graduated and you just kind of want to chill for a summer. It's great. It didn't really fit my needs as far as someone who wants to pay off their student loans, wants to make as much money as humanly possible within reason, because I do know that it's Corona times and I'm not gonna get like a real job. But I think most of the golfers were really wonderful. I liked most of the people I worked with. It was just a couple of things that I think come along with a smaller, less organized structure of a small business, because I'm very much used to that hyper-structured corporate America. Like, this is who you talk to for this issue and blah, 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 and this is how we figure things out. Having standard operating procedure, also known as SOP, I've always found that very important at a business. And to pull up to a business and they were like, yeah, you just kind of do the job and then you're done. And I'm like, there's no procedures? Turns out most people aren't getting their job done. It's a joke of a job. So that was my Corona job, my beverage cart attendant, bev cart girl job at a golf course. What I actually thought about it. Did I find it incredibly demeaning? No. I don't mind getting called gorgeous. Kind of fun. I wouldn't go back now that I have worked there, but I'm also glad I did get the experience, because it's probably the closest thing I'll have to like a fun little summer job for the rest of my life. Yeah, I made some money in a time where I couldn't really find another job. Let me know if you have any other questions. I think I covered almost everything in this video, but if not, comment down below. I'll try to be as helpful as I can with what I can remember. But yeah, someone texted me about this today and I recall, oh, that was a hiccup. I recalled that I was supposed to make this video and I didn't, so sorry, here it is now. I love you. I will see you again later this week. And I hope you have a good day. I love you so much.